Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal. Now, as you know, LeBron and the Lakers are in the middle of a series that looks like it may be closing, maybe a series that might get closed out tonight, because the Lakers find themselves in an 0-3 deficit against the Denver Nuggets, a team that's now looking like an absolute juggernaut, right? And it's something that I actually could just not have foreseen happening. But as we are, the Lakers are on the brink of elimination. So this morning I kind of woke up, was kind of combing through the internet, and something told me to just check on CBS Sports because I usually check their Twitter page for information from time to time. And I came across a pretty interesting article here. And in this particular article, it was actually written by Michael Blomain, Kasky Blomain. And he was basically highlighting some comments of when Shaq was basically talking about, had the Celtics been healthy back in 2011, that those Boston Celtics, the team that he was on as a role player at the time, would have basically slapped the Miami Heat. But before we get into Shaq's comments, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. All right, so let me get into what this article had to say, the headline here. It says, Shaquille O'Neal says Celtics would have beaten the Heat in conference semifinals in 2011 if they were healthy. Shaquille O'Neal played the last season of his decorated NBA career with the Boston Celtics in the 2010-2011 season. That team went on to lose to LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and the Miami Heat in 5 games in the Eastern Conference semifinals. O'Neal was limited to just 12 minutes over 2 games in that series due to injury issues, and he thinks if they were healthy, things would have turned out differently. I always think that if I wouldn't have gotten hurt, we would have at least made it to the NBA Finals, O'Neal said via Heavy. I've always said that I wish Danny Ainge didn't trade Perk that year, because we were like #1 throughout the whole year. I was just a role player then, but if we had made it to this thing, I would have bleeped LeBron and D Wade up in the playoffs. I promise I would have. That would have been my role. Like, as soon as they came in the hole, touch him up. O'Neal was at the tail end of his career at that point, so it's tough to say how much of an impact he would have actually had if he were able to play, but it's nice to see that he hasn't lost his competitive spirit over a decade after retiring from the league. After besting the Celtics in that series, the Heat went on to advance to the NBA Finals, where they lost to the Dallas Mavericks in 6 games. The Celtics and Heat have met several times in the postseason since 2011, including the Eastern Conference Finals. This season, Miami jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the series over Boston, and O'Neal wants to see a certain Celtic star step up the rest of the way. Jason Tatum, you want to be good? You want to be great? Or do you want to be one of the greatest Celtics ever? He said. With him being all NBA, he's going to have to step up. Game 7 against Philadelphia, that's what you call stepping up. So he's going to have to be there or a little bit under that. And then the article basically concludes itself. So you heard what Shaq had to say. Now, before people start getting in their feelings and shout, "Oh, Shaquille O'Neal, I can't stand you." Let me just say something quickly. As somebody that saw prime Shaq, as somebody that saw Vince Carter, as somebody that saw Allen Iverson, as somebody that saw Tracy McGrady, as somebody that saw Ray Allen, as somebody that saw so many of these great perimeter, Paul Pierce, and all of these guys, as someone that saw all of those great perimeter players in their day, and also had an opportunity to witness a prime Shaq, let me tell you one of the things that didn't happen in the NBA. The number one thing that never happened in the NBA is dunking on Shaq. Nobody was ever dunking on Shaq for two reasons. Number one, Shaq was big as hell. That was number one. Big, stout, strong as hell. So good luck meeting that level of force with whatever force you're coming with. Number one. Number two, whenever any player that thought they had the inclination, that they thought or they felt, I'm going to put Shaq on a poster, Shaq would literally snatch dudes out of the air and foul the hell out of them. I have literally seen Shaq just put up his arm into dudes that thought they were doing something and slam them to the ground. There was no way Shaq was not going to foul the hell out of you, so that if you even thought you were going to drive to the basket the second time, you would have a second thought. Shaq used to foul dudes. He would not let you get near that basket, especially if you thought this Shaq was going to put you on a poster. Now, why am I, if you want to put Shaq on a poster, so why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I know Shaq would have done exactly what he just said. I know LeBron is an incredible athlete, an incredible specimen, an incredible whatever finisher. He ain't finishing over Shaq if Shaq decides to stop him. Unless LeBron got a jetpack on his back and about 200 pounds of bricks in his boots, no way it's happening. Shaq would have laid those dudes all over the floor. And I think what Shaq is saying is that in that series, given the fact that he's a role player, he would just basically use up all 6 of his fouls. He would use them up on touching up those guys. So Shaq is not lying. Shaq is not making it up. Shaq is not speaking from, in hindsight, that is exactly how he played. Now, do I think that would have been enough to win the series? No. That Miami Heat team was just really that damn good. I think it was either in their first year or their second year, they had a stretch where they won. I think they went on a 25-game winning streak. It was just bonkers. It was bonkers how good that team was. But in terms of Shaq saying that he would touch him up, I would 100% believe that. Would that team have beaten the Miami Heat? I don't think they would have. But if you ask Shaq, he would definitely tell you that would have been the outcome. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about what Shaq had to say? Do you think that if Shaq was healthy and that Boston Celtics team back in 2011 was healthy, they would have been able to stop the Miami Heat from making it to the NBA Finals in 2011? Or do you think that, nah, man, it wasn't going to happen? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show.